Usual, we have no intro music yet, and we're going straight live. Tonight's show is going to be a little different than normal. Well, not so much normal, a little different than it has been for the past few weeks. So tonight we're not having any guests, although I may drop a link if anybody asks. But as it stands right now, I'm also planning to do a shorter show tonight, so it probably works out better not to have guests because a friendly channel is gonna have a show in like 20 minutes, and I want to check out their show. But I do have to work on some arts and crafts. I have to lay down a coat of paint before I go to bed. So I figure, like, now is as good a time as any. Let's see, I gotta tweak some settings here real quick. It's the worst. Hey, what's up, Bucky's Crafting? How you doing? Carry on. Yeah. Do you? That's funny. You're doing you're doing crochet. Well, I'm building a robot. Well, I'm actually, it's classified. But you know what? I'll let you see the robot real quick because in case, just because. So this is that's not transparent. That's green paint that got smeared on here. So I'm gonna create the facade. So I literally have it designed where I can remove the face from here. So I have a thick piece of foam, thicker than what this is comprised of right now, and that's gonna become the face. And it's gonna be painted in a steel or gray or stainless steel or silver color. So that's what I'm working on tonight. Now, don't tell anyone I showed you this because it's being saved for Wednesday. My friend Punkwaddle, and of course the person who runs the show that Punkwaddle appears on. His name is Floral from Owl. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I had to. There we go. Okay, excuse me. Ew, I got glue on my hand. My friend Punkwaddle and both our friend Floral from Under a Rock is gonna have his Wednesday show as he usually does, and I've been charged with the task of building a sort of robot suit. So that's what you're looking at right now. And so, we're gonna just kind of roll with it. I might react to a video or two, and then a guy named Shagsworth, he's gonna be doing a stream with Eric July. I'm not the biggest, I don't have any issue with Eric July, I don't watch his show that much. But Eric July is a interesting guy, and he certainly has made a name for himself through determination, hard work, and maybe a little drama. But I don't think the drama is necessarily anything, like, is it my fault that there's drama if other people pick on me or pick a fight? It depends. But anywho, I digress. Let's see here. So this robot head is comprised of what we call a material we call a glue, a sealant called Mod Podge. And so we're going to be using the Mod Podge to continue the construction on this robot head. And this is just a sketched out face, but it's like a holographic camera from Star Wars. But it kind of dripped on me, so it looks like he's kind of like an injured robot already. And of course, we gotta say hi to, what up, your Barmy? I was thinking about you the other day because I was thinking about, so my backyard computer took on some water damage, and I was tempted to just like build a new desktop or put a new motherboard in this desktop and make the current motherboard into a backyard board, but I realized that would just be a whole bunch of extra work. And so my best bet is to just do more research before changing out my CPU, do more research on the P cores and E cores, because I think, on my friend's laptop, at least he's running Linux, and the performance cores on the newer generation CPU he has on his laptop are not as abundant as the efficiency cores. And the concept is great. It's like, okay, there's a lot of things that every computer does that, happens in the background. And you don't necessarily need like your full high performance CPU cores all the time. On the other hand, there's a argument to be made that it's hard for software to decide which CPU core to give, to run on. And so this creates the issue where you have applications trying to run on the efficiency cores of the CPU. I'm looking for a paintbrush. That's why I'm standing. And so that's been an inconvenience because he had an older, crappier laptop. Not crappier, but older laptop that had like, did not have this E core, P core routine. And the concept of efficiency cores and performance cores is pretty cool. But I guess in his case, maybe because he's running a bleeding edge Linux or whatever, it's, not making the best automatic decisions. All right, I need a paintbrush, or else I will just have to improvise on that too. I am no stranger to improvisation. I am not afraid to improvise. But I would prefer to find the right tool for the right job. In the words of Richard Nixon. Wait, no. Richard Nixon did not say anything. And I do see your name, Mr. Godzillionaire. I'm not at my desk for this instant while I look for my paintbrush, but I see your name. And I do want to thank Godzillionaire and your Barmy. In addition to, of course, ow. What did I just step on? And Bucky's Crafting for tuning in. So maybe we'll do some reaction while I, get some things organized. Yeah, so that's the thing, like 24 cores, just having, like, the fact that they have such a high TDP, thermal design power, says a lot, and here's the thing, okay, so lately, I've been re-encoding my video content. And anything I've recorded with OBS using the NVIDIA encoder has become like prohibitively large. And so I've been compressing it. And at first I was going to use the Hevic encoder, the H.265 or X.265 encoder. In this case, a software-based CPU encoder. But it was just taking an obscenely long time to encode. It was like if I have video at 60 frames per second, this thing was running at like 30 frames per second. So I'm just like, all right, well, I got to come up with a different arrangement here. So, so this paintbrush, by the way, I'm pretty sure came in a box full of identical paintbrushes. So I'm pretty sure I could safely use this one because I'm afraid of like, soiling a paintbrush and not cleaning it before bed and then having one dirty paintbrush that I can't use anymore. But whatever, I'm not going to go looking for paintbrushes right now. Like, I have a timetable here. So anyway, my point was, yeah, so I go from like having videos that are anywhere from a quarter of the original size to 1/10 the original size. Because sometimes if you're just sitting in front of a simple background, you can go from 14 gigs an hour to like 140 gigs, megs. Well, maybe not, I'm exaggerating a little bit. 1.4 gigs, like literally. And so I've had like files that are like 2 gigs going down to 200 megs. Wow, 500 gigabyte one piece with Hevic. And this thing, I even thought about like with my Legend of the Galactic Heroes DVD, Blu-ray. I was thinking about like just going for broke and re-encoding them at 720p because they come in at 1080i. So really, like, unless upscaling adds information that's not already there, I can't say, I'm super crazy about that option. So, good idea, Bucky. Thank you, Bucky's Crafting. Yeah, I think acetone would be in order. So I put a thin amount of Mod Podge. Mod Podge, like, creates, like, this, just kind of helps to stiffen up the board. They call it a sealant or a sealer. I'm not going to use the Dremel rotary tool tonight. We're just going to kind of give some brush strokes because I need to have a base coat that I can preview and, then I could put like eyeballs on it. So yeah, I think I have a bottle of acetone downstairs somewhere, and if not, I'll just put the brush aside. But tomorrow when I get home from work, I'm off from work on Wednesday, and so tomorrow night is like the last night I can work on this before the big show. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna you know, find the missing paintbrushes that are probably like right under my nose, or tear my room in half to find them, and then I'm sure all will be well. And if not, I have these cheap sponge brushes that would be adequate. I have like dozens of these, so I can use those if I really must. So I guess I should show you guys the structural aspects real quick. So yeah, bottom line is that we got this reinforcing stuff in here. We got this elastic strap. It does pull on the sides, but we're gonna put some ears on the side. So I already last night cut some foam to size so that essentially like you get that stereotypical robot, you know, where it's like a rectangular head and, you know, maybe we'll put a coat hanger on there, but I do not want to have a Teletubby on my hands. And I do want to say hi to Floral from Under a Rock, and I'm not saying this is his fault, but this is his fault that I'm sitting here right now painting. That's not, I wouldn't call it fault. I'm having a blast here. I'm having a blast with the whole creative process and just the anticipation of the amusement that we will unload on the unwitting participants, the unwitting viewership of that show on Floral Stream. I mean, I should give this dude a wrench so he can share his own link. And I'm kidding. You're not obligated to share your own link. Before the stream ends, I will share your link. In fact, I will share your link right now. All right. So go subscribe to this guy here. No, seriously though, please do, because Wednesday night at 9 p.m. New York time. Yeah, I don't know what time in his country, but in New York it's 9 p.m. when his show comes on Wednesday. And you know, I believe I heard a rumor. I believe it might be Wotan's birthday. I'm very excited. I think Wotan, he's always been nice to me. I know he's a troll, but you know, I actually respect what Wotan the troll does and what he represents. From the first time I seen Wotan's work, Wotan's handiwork, I was like, this is great, because you know, I'm actually a firm believer in comedic trolling. It's a vital service to our societies and new discourses or something like that. But anyway, where was I? So yeah, needed a terabyte for One Piece. Damn, never realized background have the, yeah. So yeah, you're balmy. The background has that effect on video compression because it just, think about it. Keyframes. What is a keyframe? So think about it like this. Okay, you're a video codec, and everything behind me is not changing. The only thing changing is my mouth and my head. So basically, it generates keyframes, which are basically data that is consistent or persistent throughout the video, and then it only has to generate new data for the moving bits in the frame, and so it's able to, you know, it's able to, that's how you're able to get, like, realize such great reduction. So you don't have to actually reduce the quality and compress it in a lossy manner in order to get savings, because you're also using other methods of, you know, like, I don't know what the terminology is, but pretty much what I described, yeah. Now, Havoc is great, and it's superior because, like, imagine like X.264 is more like you put an even checkerboard across the entire screen. But with the Havoc encoder, it starts with a checkerboard around the entire frame, and then it creates a smaller set of like squares over the moving parts of the frame. So it's like trying to analyze it and make more efficient or better decisions about how to go about doing things to the video. So that's what's going on there with Havoc. But Havoc is a hog for editing. So at first I was re-encoding all my stuff in Havoc. I said, oh, you know what? I don't care if it takes all day. I could start the queue when I go to work, right? And when I'm at work, it'll re-encode all this content, you know? And then, you know, I come home and I could build up another batch and keep re-encoding video. But then when I was editing the video, I noticed it was a bit sluggish, and I found out that this is a thing. Like, if you have a drone or a DJI, you know, gimbal camera, you're gonna find that just, you know, scrubbing or skipping the different scenes in the video editing timeline gets a bit, you know, clunky and imprecise, and just kind of, it like just jumps on you in ways that you don't want it to. So this is where, like, you could say there's like 3 types of video codecs. You got the ones that you use for like archiving, let's say like lossless content or something like that. You got the codecs that you use for editing, codecs that behave in editing software, and then you have codecs that you might, you know, not need to edit, so you can afford to compress them a bit more aggressively. So when I do my Japanese anime, I would lean towards the more modern Havoc encoder when possible. But when it comes to anything I record and edit, I've made the decision like a few weeks ago to always do an X.264. And so instead of it like taking 60 frames of video per second and processing it at 30, which means that 1/2 hour or an hour of video takes twice as long. So 1 hour of video takes 2 hours to re-encode. And, you know, it multiplies. If you have 4 hours of video, that takes 8 hours. So what I figured out was, okay, the 264 encoder could run at like 160 frames a second. Okay, like sometimes 180. So it's running anywhere from like double to triple the frame rate. So in other words, let's say we just give it the liberal estimate of triple the speed, because it oftentimes does pretty good. 1 hour video literally takes 20 minutes, about 20 minutes. It takes less time, which is ideal, because, you know, you don't want your video encoder to take longer than it does to play back the video. At that point, I might as well hook a VCR up to a VCR and just hit the play and record buttons like we did in the 90s, you know? So anyway, and plus with the fact that it's editing is the priority, this is the way to do it. So that's where I'm at right now. Now, the problem is that the encoding queue finishes so quickly. It finishes so quickly. Like, this is what happens. Let me see. Where's the window for the application? So this is the real problem here. Yeah, so my downstairs, I have a VCR that's like, looks like it got hit with a power surge. That power LED's blinking. And in the VCR next to me here on my desk, I can hook it up. I got a new FireWire card for this computer, so I can hook the VCR directly up to this computer. Well, it's weird. I go from the VCR to a camcorder and into the computer, and I'm not going to get into that right now, but I have my reasons for doing it that way. This VCR needs to be like lubricated. I need to buy some lithium grease, so I need to find my can of lithium grease, and I need to lubricate the spindles before, you know, before I do anything else. And more cores equals more turtle power. Ha! That's funny. That's funny, Yobarmy. Turtle power. My tortoise, Londo, he's been pretty quiet lately, but that's not surprising. He tends to lay low in the winter season. Last winter, I thought he was dying. I was like, oh my god, do I have to take him to a vet? I was getting, like, making calls. I was like, hey, you know, where's the nearest reptile vet? And I was like, no, he's just kind of laying low because it's winter, temperatures drop. You know, they're not as active. And, you know, in Afghanistan, where he comes from, he would be hibernating or brumating, as they call it. So, you know, that's okay. So, yeah, you know, I mean, this is, like, about the color we're looking for, right? Silvery metallic. Yeah. I've had tape guts get stuck before, and I've gotten lucky. Now, one time I got, like, like, it got bad, but then, like, I didn't want to tell my parents, but then I used masking tape. In fact, I think I asked my dad, I said, oh, this tape is messed up. And he's only used Scotch tape, and you can fix the VHS tape with Scotch tape. Yeah, sure. Is it ideal? Not necessarily, but it's just passing over the tape head, so it's not absolutely critical. But yeah, that could be brutal, absolutely. So anyway, where was I? So yeah, so anyway, this is the video encoder I use, and so obviously I open it up and I can, you know, either drag and drop video, but the best thing to do is to give it your parameters. So you got to tell it, okay, I want to take my video and convert it into X264. I don't want to re-encode the audio, so we're going to click pass through all, because we just want to copy. And then you can do this in Handbrake. I don't have any subtitles, so we're going to turn off subtitles right now to prevent any drama. Then over here, here's the trick. So it's using a preset from doing Japanese anime, and my free version of DaVinci Resolve will not let me edit 10-bit video. So we're gonna load my preset, but my preset, let me see. Oh, good, I did update my preset. Okay, so previously when I used to load my preset, it would load some of the wrong settings. This time the preset is good. Like this 5.2 is really important, and this setting here is really important, but more because the software will yell at me. Anyway, not going to get into the weeds on that. So here's the thing where things get weird. Before I even drag and drop a video, there's 3 checkboxes. Cropping, which, okay, there's video where, like, Lord of the Rings 4K, I have to crop 275 pixels off the top and bottom in order to get rid of the letterbox, because I don't want the letterbox in there. Like, I have an ultra widescreen monitor. The letterbox creates like bars on all four sides. I want that video to fill up my entire ultra widescreen monitor. Look, this is what my monitor looks like. See? That's ultra wide. So I don't want double, quadruple letterbox, pillar box on there. So when I re-encode my Lord of the Rings Blu-rays, that's what I do. I crop them from on the top and bottom to accommodate. And plus, once you crop them, they still play on a normal screen, no problem. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, where was I? So bottom line is that we uncheck this checkbox. Then it's like, oh, would you like to resize it? I'm like, no, I don't want to resize it. And then this is a weird one. This is like because I was doing Lord of the Rings, 3840 by 2160, 4K basically. I accidentally left this checkbox on a couple of times, and you know, it ends up creating double letterbox on its own, which is brutal in my case. So anyway, once we do that, the next step is taking the video. So what I've been doing is I've been putting the video into these batches, into these folders like batches. And so you go back to the beginning here and you just drag and drop the entire list. And I think what happened was the program got confused because I got way too much video in this folder. So this is a pretty common issue. If you have way too much stuff in a folder, you're gonna like have this problem. So what I would do is I would take a smaller subset of that content. It's like, unless I write a script for video encoding, this is like what it does. I drag and drop, it analyzes them. You see it's analyzing them. And yeah, it is a better, more efficient way to do this. But like, I mean, this program is mostly very, very good. But the problem is like, I'll do this remotely on my phone while I'm at work. And then half the time it'll crash the app and I'll have to go to Task Manager. What up, Disney Sheepherder? I have to hit end task in Task Manager, reopen the stupid app, make sure my settings are right, and then drag and drop the freaking video. So that's brutal because what's funny is if it wouldn't crash every other time I used it that way, it would actually remember the settings. And let's see here. Bucky's Crafting says, that's how we used to edit tapes. Original splicing. Yep. My dad used to work at a radio station and they had to do that all the time. Oh my God, it's funny. And you know what? It's like very straightforward. I think they even like sell or at the time made a splicing tape for that purpose. And howdy and hail to you, my friend, Disney Sheepherder. Thank you for smashing that like button. I hope you are well. I will have to have you on. I was not just paying lip service when I said I would love to have you on. I meant it. And what up there, Padawan, the Padawannabe, not Padawannabe, the Padawannabe, right? You know, because I don't want to undermine. So I was just talking about how this Wednesday, the thing I'm painting right now is going to be something I'm going to wear. So if you want to see my new clothing, ooh, no, okay. But seriously, if you want to see my robot suit, yeah, you got to tune into Floral from Under a Rock on Wednesday at 9 p.m. My time. I don't know what time that is in everyone else's time. Oh. Wait, no, I do. Wait, that's like, I think that's like 2:45 a.m. No, wait. Yeah, that's 2 a.m. 2 a.m. like GMT, which is Greenwich Mean Time, which I believe is the time they use in Greenwich Village, New York. First time I ever saw a transvestite was at Greenwich Village when I was a kid. It was a guy wearing tight jeans, very tight jeans. Yeah. Estimated. Oh, EST. Correct. That is correct, Bucky. Thank you. So I only have to paint one side of this. I just want to make sure there's enough coverage on here. So I was advised to paint it, put Mod Podge on it, paint it, and then put more Mod Podge on it to like seal it. And so I think what we're going to do is I'm going to leave the paint on to dry overnight. And then we're going to do the thing, right? We're going to then do the eyes real quick. Like so, yeah, it's almost time to end my stream. Can you believe that? Time flies when you're having fun with your friends. But I do want to react to something before I do end it. So there it is. Look, it's like resize video. Why would I want to resize the video to 48 by 48? So we uncheck that. We make sure it's like not going to do that. Filters don't apply in this case, or at least the ones that are selected. And then here's the thing, what folder is it going to go into? Well, I'm going to tell it to go into the folder down here, because that's what I've been doing. I've been saying save it to this folder, and then whenever it's done with the queue, I delete. Now here's the great thing, I don't have to give it a file name, because if we go over here to config, it gives it a file name suffix automatically. So the only thing I got to do is, because It keeps crashing before it can remember the settings. I have to re-enter the name. So that's the suffix. This is telling me this video is encoded in the X264 encoder with a constant rate factor of 18. The lower this number, the one right here, the better the quality, but the larger the file. So anyway, we can now tell it to add it to the queue or add it to the queue and start the batch. So I'm going to say just add it to the queue for now because I don't want to use up my CPU. Yes, it is. It is in England or Europe, actually. It is. I think it's in probably in the UK because, you know, and yep, see, this is Floral from Under a Rock. I'm just going to put the link in without a name because it's really hard to type with stuff on my desk. But I highly recommend him. And did he make a Coco emoji yet? He puts a bunch of new emojis on his thing and he doesn't put a Coco emoji on. I'm extremely, extremely sad because Coco is a highly responsible individual. I think if you're gonna have your kids get babysat, you want Coco to be the ones to sit on your babies, if that makes sense. Because you know that's what babysitting is about, right? Like kids are crying, they're making noise, so you sit down on them and they stop crying. Pretty sure that Tracy Anthony girl or whatever her name was could tell you all about it. So let's see what we have in this reactionary playlist. So let's see here. Renewables and nuclear energy. People are upset at this automatic telescope. Okay, that's a whole 12 minutes. So I'll just give you the thesis right here. What's up, Lady Mist? Good to see you. So real quick, I do want to give a shout out to Shagsworth. So funny story about Shagsworth. He's having Eric July on tonight. And what happened was a while ago, a couple months ago, I see him doing these TikTok debates where he's debating people about abortion and all this other bullshit. And I gotta say, I liked his approach. I liked his calm approach to debating people over absurdity. Greetings, amiga friends of Shags. I'm sorry, I gotta show my presence here, right? I still haven't signed up for a membership on the channel because I'm trying to. I always check my memberships before making new ones to decide is there anything I can cancel. I don't want to waste money on shit I don't watch. So I used to follow a bunch of preppers, and I was saying, oh, these guys are saying all right things. It's they give me good news, useful news. They give me useful information, so I'll subscribe to them. But what ended up happening was I just realized, look, it's when you're when you're a prepper, it's doom, doom, doom. I mean, they can be right, but it's just they always jump on any news report about some shit about shit being bad. So I was yeah, too much negativity. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. All right, this is just I don't know what he's doing. Something about some flat Earth guy. It's not really important. We'll just close that. Oh, this is funny. The ice wall, could it be real? Yeah. So Florida Marquis, this guy goes off the freaking handle. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not being open-minded. I mean, I want there to be a Stargate in Antarctica too. But I'm gonna kind of have to call bullshit on that. I mean, you just see how he starts. Wait, what is this? I gotta put my headphones on for this one. Earth is under interplanetary assault. Earth is under interplanetary assault. Yo, that's cool. That looks like frickin' Satan or some shit. Let's mute my audio here. Yo, I don't give a shit if that's real or not. It looks fucking cool. Yeah, I know it's not real. It looks like an airplane. So I'm gonna say it's not War of the Worlds. And frankly, Florida Marquis is the guy who said that there's no aliens. There's ultra-terrestrials living in Antarctica. And that's cool if there's evidence or even if you got a cool theory. But I'm surprised he's saying interplanetary. I would have thought he'd blame it on something more local. But it's of course, the video quality is always garbage in these videos. And I'm starting to think it's possible it's bad quality. Maybe it was sent as a multimedia message. But if I wanted to fake something like a attack on the Earth from aliens, what I would do is I would take the video, record it, and then run it through the video encoder, just like the one here, except that I would put the settings in shit quality mode, right? Give it a really low bit rate or something, just make it look like hell. So yeah. So basically, okay, this is what happened. This guy's video is about a little telescope. Here it is. And basically, like, he does a pretty interesting, like, thing. It's called People Upset at This Automatic Telescope. And the reason is that sometimes, like, what would happen is people will buy, like, and he kind of goes into, okay, let me start over. So, many years ago, like, over a decade and a half ago, they came out with go-to telescope mounts. And these are, like, telescopes where you buy a telescope, it comes with the mount, and the mount can aim itself, right? It can aim itself. It can, you know, like, you just have to, like, polar align it or align it against the stars that are known. And then once you align it against known alignment points, you can, like, basically click on a button on a little keypad, a control pad, and it will aim the telescope at, you know, at whatever target. And so when those came out, what would happen is people would get these telescopes. They'd go to a local astronomy club to get advice from the nerds there. They'd be like, hey, look, I got this telescope with a go-to mount. How do I use it? Can you help me out? And this guy, he's ranting about how people in those astronomy clubs would give people a hard time. They'd be like, oh, man, you got to return that thing. No, you got to return it. Get a refund. Go get yourself a pair of binoculars. And this is because when I started astronomy, yes, I encountered people and they would do the same thing, but they were trying to actually help me. What they were saying was, don't sink a bunch of money into a powerful telescope. It's a real money pit. Astrophotography is not like regular photography. Before you do that, get a low zoom short refractor, a low zoom. I'm gonna just call it low zoom. That's not the right term, but a low zoom telescope, and just learn the sky with it. You know, practice, learn. If you're gonna take pictures, do it on a telescope that does not have a lot of zoom. That's like super important, right? And they were right, but I decided to dive in head first, and I feel like, oh cool, Punk Water's there. Yeah, I gotta say hi to Punk Water, because Punk Water's my boy. And yeah, I'll leave you guys a link to Shagsworth, even though I can cannibalize my own viewers right now. He deserves it. So, jumping around the hot topics here, I got two topics here. So, bottom line is, yeah, you know, like, there's a learning curve. Maybe I'll do a different video on it. Unfortunately, when I saw that, aside from the fact that I got to do my project, when I saw that, what's his name was streaming tonight, I said, you know what, that gives me 2 reasons to shorten my stream tonight, you know, try to, you know, just do, I mean, I know he wouldn't do a short stream on my account, but I know that the guy's got more subs, and I think having Eric July on your stream is kind of a big deal, so I do respect that, and, encourage that person. So anyway, to finish my story, so yeah, this guy's ranting and raving about people who do that. And real quick, Bucky, you're right. There's not really any excuse for bad footage with how good cameras are these days. Like, so the only excuse would be like if the video was transferred to a multimedia message and just got super compressed. But even then, it's like, you're right, because it's like, I see plenty of I mean, anytime there's a street fight on a freaking subway platform. Okay, I got a video of 2 people having sex on a subway platform in New York. Okay, all of that shit's in excellent quality. But it's like I can't get a freaking alien video that's excellent quality. Now, granted, maybe some people upload to Instagram and other people send it through, you know, text. But still, no, there's no excuse. I'm sorry. It's like, not like, look, it'd be fine if it's like some cameras, but it's like every freaking camera with a Bigfoot video. Now, that says sometimes Bigfoot, they have to zoom in and crop it a lot. I get that, you know. Did Punk Water just drop in? Oh, no, he dropped it over on, you know, on Shagsworth. So Shagsworth, the great guy. So what happens, he's doing these debates about abortion and stuff. He's doing really interesting debates. He did one about the Israeli-Palestinian situation, and he kind of just summed it up to, like, it's a chicken or the egg type thing. Like, you're always going to get down to you know, the chicken or the egg, you know, whoever you're speaking to. And that's basically, I think, you know, you could have your sympathies on either side, but I think a lot of the arguments do end up boiling down or degenerating into like the chicken or the egg. And at that point, you could be there all day, going back to 10,000 BC. But anyway, so one day I go, you know what? I would love to debate climate change with Shagsworth. And he doesn't, like, I don't think he believes in like the mainstream narrative. It's just that I've looked into climate change so much that I feel like I'm pretty well equipped to like debate in favor of the mainstream narrative, even if I don't agree with it. Like, I know all of the big talking points. Like, I can give you any talking point. You could get, you know, argue about climate change with me right now, and I'll give you the mainstream talking point. I really will. But, you know, like, I feel like his debate style would be very interesting to see him debate climate change. So I messaged him. I go, hey, you want to do a collab? Come on my show, do a mock debate on climate change. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll get back to you when I get back to my office. But seems like a busy guy. But then I realized this guy's got a kind of a big channel. Like here I am, like, you know, small fry, and I'm not saying I'm that small. I'm sure I'll be at like 10,000 subs at some point. But you know, I'm showing up at this guy's. I'm surprised I could even send the guy a message. You know, I mean, like, you know, he's a nice guy. He'll read your chats if you like post a message in his chat and you have a valid point or a valid question. He'll read it out loud on his show. So you know, he's a reasonable guy. But like, I would not have sent him a request to do a mock climate change debate or a discussion on climate change if I knew he had like maybe like 3,000 more subs than I have. You know. Okay, he's only got like 1.74, but still, point is that, you know, I think he's on to big things, and so I hit him up. I said, you know, when you hit like when I hit 1,000 subs, I'll get back to you. You know, when I hit my first 1,000 subs, I'll holla at you again. So anyway, this guy down here, getting back on the topic here, this is like a little shit telescope. The lens on it is like that big. It's not very big, and it's supposed to automate astrophotography. So it's like, he's kind of making fun of people who hate on this particular telescope. And part of it, the argument is that, like, well, let's see. I guess I could play back his arguments. Let me see. Where's the... I'll play back the audio before we wrap. Not necessarily. I'm gonna let him speak his point. All true. All true. That's not entirely true. I mean, it's true. I bought many astronomy things that come with like a printer cable. It's not a printer cable. That's a serial cable. Okay, that's a ST4 cable. But he's right. But it's like you don't always have to use those accessories. It's just that there are reasons why they include those for compatibility. Because there's people who buy software packages that maybe come with baked-in support for the Oh, you can't hear him. Well, in that case, what he's basically saying in so many words is mainstream astrophotographers don't like that people have too easy of a time. Can you hear me?
Is not
you can hear me though, right?
In terms of being the first smart telescopes. There's actually been a couple smart telescopes that have come before this. You have things like the EV scope or the Stellina or the Vespa. The point I'm getting at is the C-Star is not scope or the Stellina.
That one's like overpriced. It is kind of a cute piece of hardware. I believe it has to have a camera rotator built into it in order to do what it does, because when you do long exposure photography, if you don't have an equatorial mount, oh cool, thank you for confirming, Bucky and Lady Mist. So yeah, you know, point being is, yeah,
Or the
you don't get to
Vespa.
invest
The point
in a
I'm getting
big
at is
rig
the
like I
Sea-Star
do.
is not the first telescope of its kind. There's been a couple before it, and all of those, and it takes a lot of reading through the manual, especially if you don't have a background.
And so I think what it is, like, when he bitched about people going to astronomy clubs and how the astronomy club people will tell
those
you,
two. Coming back to the Sea-Star telescope,
like, go get binoculars. They're telling you because they want you to learn the fundamentals of the sky. They want you to, like, kind of understand the hobby before you dive in. Because what happens is, if you give all this technology to the average person who's not even into the hobby, and then they come to your astronomy club to ask you questions, now you get inundated with people with stupid questions. And it's like, the club isn't a tech support group, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, if you're gonna want to do this, have fun playing with this thing. But don't expect me to, like, guide you through the setup of every intricacy, because it's sort of like when I got my first wired network router, before I had a wireless router, and I'm messaging my brother's friend, I'm going, how do I set up the network firewall? And he's sending me what they call RFCs, which are like white papers. They're like little paper documents that they have online. RFC means request for comment. And anytime they're inventing a new network protocol, they sort of like, or anything like technological, they'll create an RFC document for the matter. And then, you know, people will like give their input or feedback. So anyway, like, point is that he was trying to teach me to fish. When I was asking him like questions, I just wanted him to get to the chase. Tell me how to make my stupid video game work. How do I make my bootleg downloads work behind this firewall? And instead he's like, no, go learn how this shit works, buddy. You know, and that was basically what it was, you know. And I mean, there's some merit to the argument that the young man in the video is saying here, but I think he is, I don't know if he's like overly doing the incredulity towards the the hardcore people. But let's see,
there are plenty of people who are
Hearing
very
him out.
excited about it. But the number of people who are gatekeeping and have negative opinions about this brand new smart telescope.
Gatekeeping, that's like a loaded term. Sometimes I'm not saying he means anything by it, but like when they talk about like groups, sci-fi groups and nerds, I know that a lot of you girls, sometimes when you join a convention or you go to like a sci-fi convention, maybe you'll encounter your fair share of guys who quiz you on it. It's like, oh, you like this anime? Well, tell me about, you know, what do you know about this anime? Because I think the reason that people do that type of gatekeeping is when they go to an anime convention, the boys there, they spent time watching the anime. They're looking for like-minded friends to talk about anime. And when girls show up at the anime convention, maybe they're a little bit intimidated that the girls are going to get more of the spotlight than them. So it's like, if you're going to wear this cosplay from my favorite anime, I want to make sure you know about my favorite anime. Maybe that's a shitty thing for the guys, the young men to do, but I kind of understand why they do it. And really why gatekeeping serves a vital function, I think we need to look no further than 2020. I remember this guy, he posted a post on Reddit about this, and it was basically about how he used to love going to anime conventions and doing cosplay, but then all of the woke people started like invading his conventions, and now whenever he goes to any of his favorite conventions, it's like fucking wear a mask or get bent. And it's like, it's just like it wasn't fun anymore. And it's like, great, now I have to wear this stuffy mask all day while walking around on the convention floor. Like, if you want to wear a mask, but don't insist on it on me. And because he's a Canadian kid, he had it even worse, right? You know, even New York Comic Con, like, they were doing masks up until probably the last one. I don't know, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you get my drift. And so he basically, like, talked about what he was dealing with, how it made him unhappy, and then he made the case for gatekeeping. He said, you know, gatekeep the shit out of your hobby. And he explained why he firmly believed this to be an important thing to do. I love how the picture of bad vampires from the Twilight Zone is up for this conversation.
Was baffling to me. It actually made me laugh. And some of these comments, I mean, I had to share with you guys. I took screenshots of them, and it's hilarious. Some of these people who don't even realize they're gatekeeping. Or maybe they do realize it.
Maybe they do realize
Let's
it,
read
buddy.
this first comment. Someone talking about
No offense, I shouldn't be mean to him.
Sea-Star from ZWO. This is great. If you're going to get into astrophotography, and I mean if you're going to get into it, don't buy this. Go big or go home. EQ6R Pro or better, and a dedicated camera and filters. Don't waste your money on something like this. If you want a toy to show your friends and family at a barbecue, then get this. This person is saying exactly what those astronomy club people were saying many years ago, being condescending on people whose first telescope was the go-to telescope. Don't buy this. You need to do exactly what I did, and you need to go through the hardships that I did. I can imagine the scenario where you're at a barbecue.
Once again, I think
you can either go the smart telescope route, bring it out, push, oh, look, here's Andromeda, whoa, and then you can have a cool discussion about the Andromeda galaxy with your...
I don't think it's really that plug and play. In theory, it is, but that's assuming the weather conditions are good. But how good of a picture of Andromeda are you going to get on a freaking, like, 2-inch aperture lens? I mean, I'm genuinely curious. I wouldn't be surprised if they were faking the images on those telescopes. I mean, they probably aren't. I don't want to sound like one of those people who make shit up. Like, I have friends who do that. But no, I mean, like, jokes aside, like, you know, there is that case to be made, you know? So let's see. Let's skip through this a little bit.
Friends and family at the barbecue will be fooled that it's a telescope. Cute toy. Art.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better.
So if you are serious about astrophotography, this should be a hard pass. Straightforward, to the point. If you want to be serious about doing astrophotography, don't buy this thing because, well, they don't say why, but cute toy. Good for terrestrial spying, I guess. I hope not too many will be fooled that it's a telescope.
You know what this guy should do, actually?
Toy. One thing I will say is this thing does look cute, and I guess, you know, you could say...
I don't know if he's right or wrong, because, I mean, I would be... why not show pictures of this telescope in, you know, in action? If I didn't have to take care of other things right after this stream ends, I would spend some time looking up samples. And maybe we'll spend some time on that during the week. So, if you guys, you know, maybe check me out on the replay during the week when I do another stream, if you're not, you know, around when I'm going live. That would mean a lot, you know? Oh, not, it wouldn't necessarily mean, I mean, it always means a lot, you guys, anytime you guys show up, you know. Gotta say, you guys are a really good crowd tonight. I mean, holy cow, like, it's a shame that I'm doing a shortened stream tonight. But, I do want to say, I appreciate seeing everybody who came tonight. And, you know, tomorrow is my Friday. And then the day after tomorrow, I will, be on Floral from Under a Rock. So, you know, like I say, we got the special project planned, the thing I'm painting right now. I do want to give a shout out to the Nerdporial life form. Stay Nerdporial, as they would say in his town. And although I like to usually copy and paste the @ symbol, I'm just going to, you know, put this here. In fact, I think I have this dude in my Stream Elements bot, but I didn't have time to iron out any technical kinks, so we'll just do that. So, yeah. Check out the Nerdporial life form if you like good discussions, quality discussions, good voiceover content. And I mean, not just voiceover, but when he does the retrospective, man, he goes in. So, you know, for all of those reasons. And dudes, and ladies and dudes, and Nerdporial, you're not into Macross, are you? But if you are, a Macross game set in the Macross universe comes out in like 3 days. On the 24th, there will be a game for PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and possibly PC, I think. Yeah, you know. So do check that out, you know. Well, if you're into Macross. If you're not into Macross, well, I will be streaming that game. I will definitely be streaming that game because the day I buy that game is the day I play that game. And the day I play that game... Yo, I love OG Macross. I was on Punkwater was on Ironcaster today. The Mech Pit. He does a Monday show Ironcaster about mecha anime, and I'm always shitting on like Robotech. He'll bring up Robotech. I'm like, oh, I love Macross. What the hell is Robotech? Never heard of it. But today I had the opportunity to explain the difference between Robotech and NSD, a Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Which I gotta say, like, how did I stumble into it? Well, many years ago I saw Robotech, but like, what happened was like, during the COOF, I don't know, 2020, 2021, I discovered that it was on Amazon Prime. It was like, what was it like? It was free with ads, with commercials, but despite that, it had like really basic closed caption subtitles, and I was blown away. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. and had like more music, because regular Robotech, I mean not Robotech, the Robotech, you know, that they released in the US as they call it, it has like the main, Lin May sings 2 songs. That's all she does is sing 2 songs. And in the original SDF Macross, she sings like a dozen or more. And so it's like, there's more to it, of course, but just giving like a microcosm of why. And it's a miracle that I was able to find out on Prime, because apparently like Harmony Gold has fought tooth and nail, like a bunch of patent trolls, to make it like difficult for us to like get access. I did not know that Ironcaster never finished OG Gundam. I think he might have mentioned it. I think I endorsed it. I said, well, I highly recommend it. I believe Punk Waddle watched the movie, you know, version of it, right? You know, the 3 movies, which are pretty good. Those are the ways, that's the way I first watched it. But I think it's essential to watch the entire OG Gundam series. I mean, there's so many little individual episode arcs in there that cover, like, you know, just a bunch of things. A myriad of heartbreaking scenarios, as well as just things that are just very, very thoughtful. I don't want to say allegorical, but that's a different topic. I was watching some videos about Lord of the Rings lore, and people kept saying, oh yeah, Tolkien hated allegory. And so it's like, shit, I feel stupid for using the term allegory when talking about Lord of the Rings. But apparently, like, he avoided allegory, or, I mean, you know, it doesn't mean you could completely avoid it. But anyway, you know, like, there's a couple of things in the original Gundam series, like in the TV series, in the individual 50 episodes where, like, they did away with them in the movies, and it helped to kind of streamline it a little bit. But if you enjoy the movies and you want more, like what I did years ago was I watched the 3 movies, enjoyed them tremendously, and then at some point thereafter I watched the 50 episode series, and there was more. And there was a couple of machines in there that were dropped from the movies because Tomino apparently didn't want to have a super robot anime or whatever. And some of these vehicles were like not particularly aerodynamic, you know, like the G tank, the G bull, the G fighter. Some of these craft were like aircraft with tank treads or tank tracks on the bottom of them, caterpillar tractor tracks, whatever you call them. And they looked a little off, you know? They looked a little off. But then again, if you have a Minovsky type ultra compact fusion reactor running your ship, perhaps it's a bit more practical to have bad aerodynamics in your machines. So there's that. There is that, I gotta say. But, you know, I highly recommend any UC Timeline Gundam. I'm going to be ordering another Victory Gundam soon. I want to fix the arm that I snapped off my Victory Gundam, and I'm going to order... I'm pretty much going to try to order everything like in master grade from Victory Gundam, including the Gun Blaster Easy, which was from the all-female mobile suit team known as Strike Team. I'm going to order the whatchamacallit, the Javelin, which is a pretty ugly looking mobile suit, but it's an important mobile suit. It is important. Uh-oh, I can't balance the weight of these things on here. So real quick before I depart, I will show you guys some of these mobile suits here. So let's see, we got James Gunn mobile suit. No wait, what was it? Javelin mobile suit. I think it's the RGM 144, and it's a pretty plain looking mobile suit. Like, it's just, this is it. It's pretty ugly looking, but there's like scenes, RGM 122 Javelin, and there's scenes where you got your regular Federation pilots blocking the catapult, the launch catapult on the mobile suit deck, and you know, you got your League military guys all like, what the hell? You got this thing, these are called beam lancers. They're like little like things that, like missiles that have a beam sticking out the front, which I guess lets them penetrate armor. But the female engineer piloting this mobile suit does not survive. They do a lot of cool things in Victory Gundam. There's a scene where you got like a bunch of these Javelin mobile suits standing in a group in front of a ship, combining their beam shields together in order to, you know, protect it from the enemy. So I do want to get that, but I also want to get a gun blaster, or 5 of them, and then blow 4 of them up. Now, the gun blast is interesting because it's got like a Gundam head on it. You know? I mean, it's literally got like a little Gundam head. See, got the Vulcan cannons, but it doesn't. I don't think it has a core fighter. I think it's a straight mobile suit. But it is a interesting design. It is, and I think like it proved it's a proven, I think it definitely showed its combat capability in this series. I don't think it's Minovsky equipped. It can't just magically hover. That's a weird picture right there. Okay, before I wrap up, that looks like a friggin' that's supposedly a gun blaster, but painted in Gundam colors. That is interesting. I'm gonna have to research why that exists. But anyway, with that being said, I am going to kindly send you guys to Mr. Shagsworth, even though, like I say, like I'm just doing this because he's a nice guy and I see a bunch of friendly faces in the chat on his channel. You don't have to say it's a raid. I mean, you could if you want. I won't stop you. But I'm not demanding that you guys say, it's a raid. But he's a nice guy, and like I said, he does quality debates sometimes. And seems to have a cool, rational head. But anyway, I need to go and get ready for bed while his paint dries. Then I gotta get back here, put on another coat of paint, and then get ready for bed for real. So with that being said, I appreciate everyone who came to hang out during this truncated stream tonight. For anybody watching presently or on the replay, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Please check out Floral from Under a Rock. He will be on this Wednesday. Check out Nerdpool Real Life for him. I gotta see if he's got a schedule for his streams. Like, I just drop in on the streams. It's like, I mean, I know what days I'm off from work. I should know when to check if he's running a stream. Because look, it's one thing, I can't like show up and do moderated things, right, while I'm at work necessarily. But I would like to drop in when he's talking about something of interest, And like I said, yeah, Wednesday, you're going to see this robot suit. So essentially, you saw the box, right? You saw the part that goes on top of my head. Okay, it's going to have eyes on the front. It's going to have a mouth. It's going to have some LEDs. But what we're going to do is I'm going to have to cut this to a particular shape. But there's going to be like a chin strap. And I'm going to use double-sided tape to tape it to my chin. And when I move my jaw, as you can see, it's going to be like that. And I have these things called Chicago rivets. And Chicago rivets are sort of like, you can use them to put together binders and stuff like that, like you're making your own instruction manual at work. But in this case, I'm going to use the Chicago rivets to create a sort of like hinge. I'm going to mount the chin strap to the side of this box, and that's how we're going to get that chin strap to be articulated. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. And then tomorrow night, I'm going to work on the arms. I have some LEDs. I have some, not LEDs, what do they call it? Like fluorescent wire or illuminated wire. Basically, it's this wire that lights up like a LED, but the entire wire lights up. And I got it in like 4 colors. So this robot's going to look like it's going to look like some Johnny 5 type crap. But let me tell you, at least that's my plan, is to give it that like out there look. But okay, jokes aside, not jokes aside, but just with that being said, once again, I want to thank Bucky's Crafting, Lady Mist, what's my boy, the Disney Sheep Herder. Holy crap! Low Spec Linux Laptop was here. He sent me a cool video about a Babylon 5 mod or game, and I thought it was pretty cool, and I want to try one out myself. And I don't know what Silent Movie Day is, but apparently that's September 29th. So that's a shame, because if that was coming up, I'd totally be all for it. But that being said, I have an old Windows mobile device on my desk here. And one of the reasons I bought it was so that I could put silent movies onto this antiquated device. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's right here. It's in a Ziploc bag right now, but it's an old Casio PDA. Like, I got rechargeable batteries in here. And my intent is to, like, put, like, I Love Lucy and Honeymooners episodes and any black and white movie or TV show I can find onto that device. But anyway, Buggy's Crafting, have a good night. Lady Mist, Low Spec Linux Laptop, the Disney Sheep Herder, Free Space Open Mod. Thank you. I was looking for the full name on that. Also, I think it's in the video you sent me. I will make note of that anyway, because it never hurts to have notes. And who else? Who else? Am I forgetting anyone? I'm sure I'm getting somebody. Okay, we said Disney Sheepherder. We got the Nerdporeal life form. Godspeed to you, good sir, if you're still there. The Padawannabe was here tonight. Your Balmy was here. Cool dude. With a more powerful computer than me, it pains me to admit. We got, unless we're counting my server. Then we got Floor from Under a Rock, whom we spoke about at length, or at least we spoke about his show. We got the Godzillionaire. And I think that covers everybody who is here tonight. So with that being said, if you haven't already hit that like button, hit that like button. Check out Eric July. I'm not Eric July. Well, Eric July is on Jagsworth right now if you want to check that out. And for anybody in general, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. And for now, we shall end transmission as soon as I end stream on my mark.